Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown. In at number 63, it's a first for this countdown. It's our first platform game. This is a game called Blagger, which came out in 1983, released by Alligata Software. The original version was designed and developed for the Commodore 64 by Anthony Crowther, and it was ported in the same year, actually, to the Beeb in 1983 by Ross Goodley. And this was followed up by an Acorn Electron port in 1984. So Blagger is, as I said, the first platform game that we'll have seen in this video series. It was a fairly popular game when it came out. Gameplay quite similar to that of Manic Miner, which is a popular game with ZX Spectrum fans. Yes, it's spawned several sequels as well. So there was Son of Blagger, which came out in 1984, and a third slightly interesting one called Blagger Goes to Hollywood, which came out in 1985. So the premise of Blagger is you play the part of a burglar, the aforementioned Blagger. You have to collect a series of keys and make it back to the safe in order to exit the level. It's a time-based challenge for each level, and you have to avoid a lot of obstacles along the way. Possibly the biggest obstacle being you mustn't fall too far, otherwise your Blagger character will die. So let's take a look at the game. All right, let's load up Blagger. Here we are. Brilliant bit of splash screen art there, very similar to the cover as well. Liking that a lot. I think that looks pretty sweet. Okay, so as I was saying, the aim of the game is to collect the keys, avoid obstacles, and yeah, see if you can get back to the safe. So let's give it a go. All right, space to start. So here is our Blagger. So I can move him left and right, as you can see. And here we are. We're going to go this way. Onto a conveyor belt here. There we go. Must avoid the, well, I think they called it a bush in the introduction. I think it's meant to be a cactus. Not quite sure why it's so dangerous to our character, but he is actually a very sensitive soul, it has to be said. Almost everything in Blagger can kill Blagger. There we go. We've got our key there. So you can see these platforms obviously destruct as you tread on them, so you can't tread on them for too long. To say I'm not a huge fan of that sound that he makes every time he jumps. He's a very noisy character, is Blagger. You've got the noise of his footsteps, the noise of him falling, and the noise obviously of his jump as well, which is yeah, quite something. So you have to be careful here not to fall too suddenly, so just wait for that to move out of the way. That's about as far as Blagger can fall. Now we're going to wait for this to time it correctly. Jump and down. Alright, now we're going to have to wait. Oh, hang on. Oh dear, oh dear. I've messed that one up because I've now lost my platform that I needed to get back up here. Unfortunately, that means I'm trapped now. So I'm going to have to end my life. There we go. Goodbye, Blagger. Now, unfortunately, it's one of those games where if you do mess up, you have to start again at the beginning of the level. It is kind enough to let you store your progress in terms of levels completed. So obviously, if I do manage to make it past level 1, I do get to stay on to level 2. And if I was to lose a life on level 2, it lets me keep going on that level. Now you can see a green bar, I think, on the right-hand side of the screen there, which is gradually sinking downwards. So if that reaches the end, that's curtains for Blagger. So we have to make sure that we get all the way through before that happens. So let's just keep on dropping down here. Okay, now we'll gently go down here and see if we can avoid getting hit here. There we go. Oh dear. Oh, I must have very slightly nudged the obstacle there, which is a bit frustrating. Okay, well, let's keep on going. Let's try our luck a second time. Oh, third time actually. So yes, it's not a very forgiving platformer. So I think one of the reasons why I have brought it in at sort of number 63, and we'll be looking at other platformers in this series, is that while it does play relatively well, and you know, I do like it. You know, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good game, but it is very, very unforgiving. And I mean, as an adult player, you know, you can just about tolerate having to, you know, keep at it until you know, sort of persevere basically until you manage to work out the exact way of completing each level. But yeah, as a child, I suspect a lot of kids would have found this a bit frustrating actually. Okay, hang on. Let's see if we can. Oh, yeah, we've done it. Okay, now if we don't mess this up, we should just about make it out of this level. There we go. And then I just need to go up here. Oh no! Oh dear. Thought we had it there. Okay, well I will try and get us past this level in our gameplay. If we don't manage to, I might have to do a little bit of crafty editing just to at least get us into level 2. I've got a Blue Peter saved game that I can load up on my emulator that takes us to level 2 if we need it. So, but let's see if we can keep going. I'm on my last life now. You can see at the bottom there we've got men is on 1 now. So gonna have to be very careful in this last attempt, not to mess things up. So yes, I mean in terms of platformers for the Beeb, it's definitely not the best, but you know it's got decent graphics. I think it plays pretty well. Um, it's just very difficult, and as I say, it's you know it is very challenging game. And it in the days of you know the original Beeb, I think there we go, we made it. Just need to get back to that safe. Yes, in the days of the original Beeb, when such things as you know saved games and so on were well not possible on a game like Blagger, it would have been quite a challenge to you know get much progress in this without working your way steadily through each level. Let's avoid that sweet there. Um, oh, hang on. Oh no. Oof. Oh dear. Dear, that was a bit of a shame, isn't it? So yes, that's the end of Blagger for this run through. Okay, so I'm going to apply some cheeky editing now, and we'll go back to level 2 again, and with a few more lives, and see if we can make a little bit more progress. So if you'll just bear with me a few seconds. Okay, so here we are. We're back again at level 2 with a few more lives under our belt. So let's see if we can make a bit more progress this time around. So we're going to shoot across here. There we are, and up to that key in the corner. Very good. All right, and so now we have to do a running jump here. Get our way across. Now this is oh yeah, this is. Yeah, so you can see Blagger really is sensitive there. I think his hair just gently brushed that sweet on its way past, and that was more than enough, unfortunately, to lose a life. To say on some of the practice runs that I did, I mean, Blagger would lose a life if he just ever so slightly grazed one of those bushes. That was, you know, more than enough to say curtains to Blagger. Right, now we have to be. Oh, it's really quite stretch to get across here. There we go. I think we're just about going to make it down. Oof. Okay, and oh, hang on. No, not quite. Yeah, now you see if you fall off this conveyor belt and you don't manage to get down in time. Oof. Yeah, right, we're going to wait here, I think, and do that again. Hopefully I didn't clip the edge there. Ooh, okay, and we'll just wait for that sweet one more time. Alright, there we go. Now, I've only got one key left, but I have to try and work out how to get there without getting hit by that sweet. Up here. Right, let's see. So, if I want to get to that key, I'm going to have to go up here, up here. Right, now I'm going to wait for that sweet to go past. I think it would be better if we had it on the way down. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, no, really? Goodness. I mean, that just shows you that, you know, it can be a very frustrating game because I'm not even sure what it was on that occasion that caused me to lose a life. Oh dear, well, I definitely grazed the edge of the sweet there, so I will accept that one. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, whether I was it touching the? Oh, maybe it was touching the edge of those conveyor rotors. I think perhaps you're not allowed to do that. I mean, it certainly would be common with everything else in Blagger that basically you mustn't touch. Oh no! Ah, yes. So there we are. That's Blagger for you. It really is quite a difficult game. And bearing in mind that in this run through we've oh dear no that's not going to work. Bearing in mind in this run through we've managed to get to level 2 with 1 life to spare and I only did a little bit of cheeky editing to get oh dear to give us an extra life, or rather an extra set of lives with my saved game, but certainly didn't manage to complete level 2. I think I remember reading somewhere that Blagger has somewhere in the region of about 60 levels. I'm not sure if that's entirely true or not. Please do leave a comment below if you know otherwise. But yeah, I mean, how anyone would have ever got through 60 odd levels of this on the BBC Micro without the ability to save game, yeah, I dread to think. Certainly, it's a game of perseverance. I mean, I suppose, if nothing else, if you had this game and not many others, you'd certainly attempt to clear as many levels as you could, and really practice the game and get good at it. But I don't know. I think for me personally, there's something a little bit missing from Blagger. I'm not quite put my finger on it. It doesn't have quite the sort of charm of a Chucky egg. Um, you can't fire anything, so you're really at the mercy of these obstacles. You've got nothing to attack them with. I suppose that's not too dissimilar from games like Manic Miner. Um, but yeah, you've not really got any kind of sort of defensive weapon or any kind of shields. I think you can get extra lives possibly by achieving certain high scores, but yeah, really it's just a game of avoiding obstacles and tolerating that rather annoying jump music. I shouldn't be too unkind. Actually, the game does actually let you turn the sound off if you want to. So if it does give you a bit of a headache, there's always the option to disable it. But I don't want to be too unkind to it. I think it's a fairly robust platform game. It's clearly been very well coded. I mean, I keep complaining about the sensitivity of it, but actually, it takes quite a bit of programming prowess to actually be able to code that kind of sensitivity, where even the slightest pixel touching the edge of an obstacle causes instant death. So actually, that's not something to criticize it for in terms of how it's been put together. The color clashing there is good. It stays within the sprite, so can't complain there. And yeah, it's got some sort of, it's a slightly quirky game. I think you'd agree. I mean, the sort of sweets and all the other things that can beset our character. I've read that if you get to some of the later levels, the baddies actually become the initials of Ross Goodley. So I think there are some baddies that just look like the letters RS, which are it's a quite a nice little touch actually, as a way of stamping the programmer's identity onto the game. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I mean, overall, I think, I've waited until number 63 to bring in Blagger because I do feel like it's a good game, but it's certainly not my favorite platform game for the Beeb. I think there are some much better entries that we will see in due course. Yeah, so here it is. Here is Blagger. We've still got a couple of lives going here, so we'll see if we can possibly make it to the third level. I'm going to have to see what the best way of doing that is, because I need to avoid hitting that. Ooh, okay, now, yes, this is where it's going to be a bit of a challenge, because Blagger doesn't like to. Oh, I was going to say he doesn't like to fall too far, but I think there we go. Ooh, we've got some Rolling Stones mouths here by the looks of it. Well, this is uncharted territory for me, at least for a few years, because it's been a while since I last played Blagger, and I'm not sure exactly what the best route is for this. I think if we go down here maybe, and then avoid. Gosh, yeah, no, just ever so slightly touched the edge of those hot lips there. I mean, that's the thing with Blagger. You really do have to be extra, extra careful. I know I use that word a lot in my videos about, how you have to be careful about this, that, and the other. But with Blagger, it really is the case that, even the slightest error will cost you a life. Which I think as a child player, that's possibly something that was oh dear. I'm not sure I hit the mouth there. I think that was a little bit unfair, but there we go. It's probably about time to draw this video to a close anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at Blagger. That's come in at number 63, as I say, the first platform game we've had a look at in this series. It's got its faults, but I think it's a fairly solid. There you go. There's the RGs look that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, it's a fairly solid platform game. It's a shame that it's so difficult because I think some of is that a toilet there? I think some of the later levels in particular are a lot of fun. And it's basically a series of puzzles, at the end of the day. So, yeah, do leave me a comment if Blagger was one of your favourites, whether you played it on the Beeb or indeed the Commodore or the Electron. Um, and until next time, thank you for watching this video. I hope you'll join me for future videos in the series. For now, thank you and goodbye.